I'm doing a little solo date night in Dublin tonight. I've got tickets to the Jacob Collier concert, and my partner was supposed to be able to come with me, but he got called into work. And then I asked a couple of people to see if they wanted to come, but it was all too last minute. They were either working or had like previous commitments. There was some more people I could have asked, but to be honest, I was like, I really actually just want to go by myself. I like going to gigs by myself. I like going to the cinema by myself. And with music specifically, it's something that's like so personal. I didn't want anyone else to interrupt the experience, you know? Like this artist is relatively unknown. Like I don't think anyone that I would have asked would have actually known who he was. And I didn't really want to have to be responsible for explaining him to them and then like seeing if they were having a good time, whatever else. And I mean, it would have been grand, but I really like the idea of being able to go by myself and then just like set my own pace with everything. Like I'm going to go and I'm going to be on time. I'm not going to have to wait for anyone to come with me. I'll be able to, I'm sitting in like the nosebleed section, the upper circle, and in the upper circle, it's unassigned seating. So I'm gonna be able to pick my seat. So I'm gonna get there in good time and pick whatever seat I want. I'll grab a drink if I want to. I won't if I don't want to. I'm gonna bring my book. So, you know, if there's some downtime before anything starts, I might have a little glass of wine and read my book for a little bit before the music starts. And then when the music starts, if I wanna cry, I'm gonna cry. The tears are gonna flow. No issue. So anyways, if you can tell, I'm quite looking forward to it. And I thought it would be fun if I brought you along to a certain extent to kind of just show you the theater. Hopefully I can film in the theater a little bit. So I'm going to the Olympia, and that is like my favorite music venue in Dublin. It's really beautiful. The sound is really good. It's like a nice intimate atmosphere. Right now, I'm gonna make some dinner. I was thinking about going out for dinner first, but you know what? I just prefer to make dinner at home. So I'm gonna make some dinner, eat that, and then hit the road. So I just kept it really simple. I got a rotisserie chicken and then I whipped up a Greek salad and a bit of rice, which is probably my favorite meal. Anytime I can have Greek salad, rice, and then some kind of meat, perfect. Okay, so it's the next day. I didn't really film much of like the city at night because to be honest, at the gig, I wanted to enjoy the gig, and then afterwards I was just like processing because it was a lot. Like it was amazing. It was such a unique experience. I've been to a good few concerts. You know, I grew up with a lot of music in my house, so even like I love small town gigs more than anything. I love going and just like listening to my dad play music and that kind of vibe. And then of course I love bigger concerts too. To be honest, I've never been to like a big stadium tour though. Like I've never gone to anything like Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or like any big stadium tour. I've never done that before. Where the gig was at the Olympia, that is like my favorite venue in Dublin. Probably one of my most favorite music venues in general. I love it. The sound is always amazing. It's beautiful. It's like friendly staff. It feels easy. It's a very intimate environment. And I mean, like there's good bar access, everything like that. So that's great. Love the venue. But let's talk about the gig. So the opening act, first of all, was really, really good. It was a woman from Ireland. So she is originally from Ireland, but she lives in Berlin now. Her name was Birdie Wallace.
And she started off a cappella, which was like perfect for the kind of people that like Jacob Collier. Like, that's a great way to start. But her voice was absolutely stunning, and it felt so like Irish folksy. It really felt like, yeah, an intimate moment, you know, as if we were just out in the pub or something and someone starts singing. I've been in situations like that before in Ireland where you're hanging out in the pub and then like a trad session, which like traditional music would start off. And like there's been people that will sing a cappella, and oh my God, it's like it can be one of the most moving things that you'll witness musically. And so she started off with that, and then she got into, I think she did 5 or 6 songs in total, and it was just solo, so it was just her on the guitar, and they were all great. Like, it was really, really fun, and she was really good crack. Like, the people loved her. She was very funny, very engaging. She ended with this one like beautiful song that she wrote for a friend of hers that has passed away, and she got these two people, like these two older folks, came on and sang with her just for the harmonies, and it was stunning. It was really, really nice. So anyways, she got a standing ovation, which is, I mean, like, that's pretty rare for an opening act to actually get a standing ovation. So it kind of showed what the crowd was like. And the crowd in general, to be honest, it was like a room full of nerds, you know, which I love. I absolutely love that kind of environment because Jacob Collier is like, he is a musical nerd, like self-proclaimed. He's really quite like geeky, very quirky, and like this amazing educational list, if that makes sense. Like, his mom is a professor of music, and I'm not sure if he's an actual professor now, but he definitely teaches people about music, and thus like his whole thing when he turns the crowd into a choir. Anyway, so yeah, the crowd was very, I felt like if you were there, you had to be open minded. There's probably some people that felt a little bit uncomfortable with the situation because there's so much audience engagement. But in general, the people that were there really wanted to be there and like were like super fans of his for sure. And if you weren't a super fan to begin with, I think like by the time you left, you would have been. And so when he came out on the stage, first of all, this just goes to show what his energy is like. He suddenly, like, you know, there's a countdown kind of for when he's going to perform, but then all of a sudden the lights turned down, and then he runs out to the stage and like kind of slides across, but like crouching running, sort of very childish. And I mean that in like the best way possible. Like, he had such this like pure childlike energy about him, and it was clear that he was just so happy to be there. So he starts off with that, you know, like runs off on the stage and he just kind of like taking in the moment, greeting all the fans. And then he got into the music, and so this was a solo show for him. And I don't know if he said it was like the first time. I think he kind of said like he didn't really know what he was doing because it was the first stop on the tour. First of all, it's very common for people to start their European tours in Dublin. It's like just a thing that they do. So it was his first show for this tour, and I think for the rest of the tour he might have other musicians with him. This was just like a solo show, so it was just him and his instruments, and then the crowd participation, of course. So anyways, it was amazing. I think like right off the bat he got the audience engagement. So like I was saying, his big thing is that he turns the audience into a choir, which, I mean, some people, if you're kind of like a critical person, you might look at it and be like, oh yeah, like you raise your hands like this or you do this, like people are going to like understand the cues and do it. Of course it takes way more than that. Like, this guy really like knows how to conduct people, and especially like people that like have no idea what we're doing. Like, we're not a choir, we're not real singers here, you know. But it was really cool to be a part of, very cool to participate in, and then also just to hear it, because you can go and watch videos and you will get a bit of that where you'll hear it and it'll sound good, it'll sound like interesting or neat, you know. But when you're actually in the audience and you hear like that sound coming all around you from all these voices, it was really amazing. Very special, very moving. So he did that right away, and then he did some of his songs. So the way that he works is he does write his own songs, like lyrics and music. But then one of his big things too is that he covers famous songs and then like just composes them. What's the word whenever you take a song and then like you kind of like he's recomposing it. So it's familiar, we know what it is, you know, like there's a famous chords or whatever that goes with it, but then his interpretation is like quite different, and he'll, you know, do something different with on the piano and whatever else. But yeah, lots of famous songs, so then us as the audience would know the lyrics and be able to sing along and engage with that. And so we would, there was a lot of audience participation. His engagement with the audience was really neat because he's very funny. Not all musicians are actually good entertainers, and he was very warm and welcoming, very funny and like lighthearted. Again, it was so clear that he is so full of joy and just loves music so much and loves the people and loves the participation. It was like, it was obvious, you know, it was radiating off of him. The music could be really moving and beautiful and emotional, and then he would know how to lighten the mood perfectly, you know, with either a little ditty on the keyboard that would be sound funny, or just like his one-liners too. He's so quirky. Like you'll see just from the his clothing, you know, he's always wearing these very like colorful eccentric trousers. He wears socks on stage, not shoes, and it's always two different socks. It's just his little quirks, you know. But to be fair, the way he moves around and the way the music is moving through him, I probably wouldn't want to wear shoes either. Like it's just, he's so mobile with everything. Really amazing like pianist that you could see is classically trained, but then doing some like modern sounds as well. Oh, and so here's the crazy thing that happened. Once we're probably 3/4 of the way through the show, he said suddenly like, "Oh, I've got a surprise for you guys." And people are like, "Oh, what's the surprise? What's the surprise?" And he's like, "Oh, there's a friend that I have in town who's playing this weekend in Dublin as well." And so I asked them, you know, if they would want to come up and do a couple songs with me. And like the crowd has this anticipation. I think some people kind of knew who it was. And I kind of was like, oh yeah, I think I heard that this person's around. But I didn't really know. Anyways, so he calls out Lizzy McAlpine, and the crowd lost their minds. There was this one couple sitting in front of me, like to the left of me. And it was so funny because during the whole concert, they were very engaged, seemed to be having a good time. But then when he announced Lizzy McAlpine, they were both so excited, but the boyfriend lost his mind. Like I heard sounds coming out of him that like I just haven't heard before from like someone cheering. Like he was really, really excited and very emotional. So they performed 2 songs together. The first song is a song that they have together. It was very beautiful. She's an amazing vocalist. And then they did a rendition of Joni Mitchell's Case of You, and that was stunning. So they did that because on the weekend Jacob had been playing at the Joni Jam, so he was actually got to play the piano for a Joni Mitchell performance. And then Lizzy is a big Joni Mitchell fan. So anyways, they were like, they wanted to do this Joni Mitchell song. So they start off with Jacob playing on the piano and Lizzy is singing, and it is absolutely beautiful. And then he gets up and suddenly he's doing this audience engagement and getting us to become a choir. So he gets everyone where he wants them to be with singing the notes that he wants them to sing. And then Lizzy came back in and sang the second half of the song while Jacob was conducting us as the choir. And it was stunning. And he just posted a video on his Instagram. I'm sure it's on YouTube as well. I'll link it below, of like the final moment. And it was so, so beautiful. He's done this. I've seen other videos of him doing this before where he'll get the choir into it when he has like a guest singer, and then they'll start singing with the choir. So instead of there being any instruments, it's the audience as a choir accompanying the singer. And it was beautiful. Anyways, I could rant and rave all day about how great this gig was. And it was one of those things too, like his music is kind of like, sometimes it feels really out there, sort of. I don't really know how else to say it. But it is such a unique experience. Like it wasn't, I love live music anyways. Like it doesn't need to be a unique experience for me to like really enjoy it. Like I love just someone picking up a guitar and playing a song. But this was really special, and this guy has been called, you know, like a generational talent. And that's really special just to witness. And it was also just like so pure hearted with his joy and everything like that. It was just a wonderful, beautiful thing to be a part of, whether you like particularly like his style or not. I think it was like it's well worth seeing him live if you get the opportunity. I think it's actually way better to hear him live and be in that environment than to just listen to him on Spotify. Of course, you can listen to him on Spotify as well, but the live experience is really something else for sure. So yes, I would highly recommend if you ever have the opportunity to see him live. And the other thing is, let this be your sign to go to a concert by yourself. You know, like if there's an artist that you want to see and you don't have anyone that wants to go see them with you, or they just can't, like they're not available, or even if like maybe even just take the opportunity to go and enjoy it by yourself, because there's something really special about going to a concert by yourself and just being then fully in the music and fully in the moment, and you're not worried about what someone else is thinking or feeling, or you don't need to feel embarrassed if like you're really loving it or if you're feeling emotional. You can just enjoy it and have that for yourself, you know, like have that experience for yourself. I love to share experiences too. I'm not saying that. I love to go to concerts with my partner and with my friends and everything like that. But there is something really special about taking that time for yourself. So if you've been thinking about doing something like that but have been a little too nervous or scared, just do it. There is like no better place to do it, no safer place to go, you know, by yourself. And by safe, I mean like it's not socially awkward. Like it's totally okay to go to a concert by yourself. Just do it. Please, please. You're going to love it. So yeah, that's my little recount, my review of the Jacob Collier concert. Djesse, I think it's called, the Djesse tour. Djesse number 4. Not really sure, but anyways, it was amazing. I loved it. And if I do something, hopefully I'll do something else fun sometime soon, and I will bring you guys along and recount it for you. So anyways, as always, thank you for watching and hope to see you soon.